Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern Ned Reynolds, back in the studio on a Tuesday morning. So I know that we got one more preseason game left. You definitely don't want to have any injuries before the regular season even starts, but it's football, and that happens all the time. You can see some other teams. We lost Jody Fortson for the rest of the year, which is unfortunate. But so far, beyond that situation, health for the Chiefs is good.
We were unscathed coming out of that game with the Arizona Cardinals, which really, in all honesty, wasn't competitive and you didn't think it was going to be. You didn't have Kyler Murray playing. Arizona didn't play virtually anybody. And the Chiefs whipped them 38-10, as they would have even with the regulars in there. Arizona's not a very good team. But yes, Andy Reid was pleased with the health of the team, did say that Mr. Pacheco is on the way, could even play on Saturday against the Cleveland Browns a little bit, but over and above that, Isaiah is getting better. He's coming on and improving. So, hey, that's a really good note. Isaiah Pacheco coming back. The Chiefs are a very good football team. There's no question about it. They are top-notch, and I fully expect them to be another, I won't say Super Bowl team, but certainly a Super Bowl contender.
And like I said, after week one of the preseason, it was so much fun watching those 2s and 3s play. That same thing carried off into the desert in Arizona. I felt the same way about watching those guys because, of course, they're playing for their job, but that also shows you the depth that the team has in certain places.
Right now, but they still have to cut a whole lot of players from that team.
And those are when the tough choices are made, more specifically in that wide receiver room, because there is going to be a fight for those last two spots. I already know that. But, yeah, it's been fun to watch. All right, some bad news to talk about this morning.
It's really sad. Sad personally and sad for all of us in society. In the Ozarks, Rob Anders, who's only 44 years old, passed from the scene yesterday unexpectedly, passed away in his sleep, according to the reports. Rob was a star guard for the Missouri State Bears. As a matter of fact, he was among the very first recruits ever for Barry Hinson back in 2000. Barry got him from SMS West Plains. Rob was from Milwaukee, but came down here to West Plains, had 2 very good years in junior college. He and his buddy Mike Wallace were recruited by the Bears back then and really were instant stars. I remember I had the pleasure of broadcasting the first game that Rob and Mike played. It was down in New Orleans, and the Bears defeated a pretty good New Orleans University team. But Rob Anders, right from that point, showed that he was physically a very gifted individual, and as it turned out in his career, right up until the very end, intellectually, a very good leader. After his career at SMS, and it was SMS back then, Rob Anders went over to Europe, played in England for the most part, had a stellar career, about a decade, a little bit more than a decade over there, then came back to what he considered home here in the Ozarks and established a basketball academy and his team of elite players, Yanders Law. They were very, very good. Rob had that distinct ability to be able to communicate with kids, talk to them, teach them the game, all the subtleties and nuances of how to play. He was dedicated to the sport. I once told him, I said, hey, politics is going to be pretty good. You're a very good speaker, Rob. Nope. Basketball is my game. And he stuck with it until this just unspeakable disaster that has happened to all of us here. His passing suddenly, only 44 years old. This just should not be. But our sympathies and condolences to the Yanders family, and this is a very sad story for all of us.
It really is. It sucks because he was awesome. You could tell that his heart was in the right place when it came to what he wanted to do and what he wanted to give back. And yeah, he's 4 years older than me. So that's definitely eye-opening that it can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But at least he was able to leave a positive mark on this planet before he left it. The Cardinals, looking better or worse than the day before?
Depends on how you view things. They did win one game in their 4-game series with the New York Mets, and that one game was Sunday. But last night they came out in Pittsburgh at PNC Park, and it was not very pretty. Pittsburgh wins the game 11-1 over the Cardinals, gaining 16 hits. Cardinals started their newcomer, Drew Rahm. Got him from the Baltimore Orioles in exchange for Jack Flaherty. Rahm was making his very first appearance ever in a big league game. He had been with the Orioles for 2 games, but he didn't play. Sat on the bench. Kind of a roster move in a way, but He did get the start last night, his first Major League game, and didn't fare very well. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning, gave up 6 runs and 8 hits in 3 and a third innings. Did strike out 4 batters, but Rom, who's a big lefty and throws hard, did not have a good night at all. And Pittsburgh had their bats booming. Palacios was 2 for 4, had a big home run in that game to lead a 16-hit attack against the Cardinals. And the Pirates win it by a score of 11-1. That drops the Cardinals to 16 games under the 500 mark. And they are playing again tonight and play again tomorrow night. And tonight's game will be very interesting because Adam Wainwright is going back to the Hill. He's still looking for those 2 wins that gets him to the 200 mark. He did pitch well in his last outing, but got 0 help from the team. So maybe things turn around tonight. We'll certainly find out.
Fingers crossed that they do, and I would love to see Waino get to 200. I think a lot of us want to see that. All right, what about the Royals playing the A's? Got to get a win.
No, they didn't. The A's win the game by a score of 6-4 on a 2-run walk-off home run in the 9th inning by Brett Rooker. And these teams, really, they're not playing for anything at all, and the fans know that. And to that end, a rollicking 3,000 turned out for the game last night in Oakland, California. So the final is 6-4. The Oakland A's beat the Kansas City Royals, and it just continues to be a very tough season for both those teams.
Definitely does, but as they say, there's always next year. All right, Team USA, Basketball World Cup. When did the regular games start?
Glad you mentioned that too, because these will be the regular games. The team has flown to Manila, and they have landed in Manila in the Philippines, which is where the USA will play all their World Cup games. Some of the other teams go to outlying areas, but USA will play all their games in the capital city. 5-game exhibition, and the United States won all of them, including an absolute dandy against a very good German team, and that was on Sunday. Germany gave Germany gave USA all manner of fits, up by 16 points late in the third quarter, and the USA came on and won 99-91 with a tremendous rally. Now, they can't count on that happening every single time. USA's first game will be against New Zealand, and is Saturday morning, 7:40 our time in Manila in the Philippines. It'll already be evening over there. But USA versus New Zealand should not be much of a challenge. New Zealand has no NBA players on their team, never heard of any of the players at all, and they are not considered a world power. Second game on Monday will be against Greece. Greece was a team that USA played in the exhibition series and beat 108-84, I think the final score was. But they're pretty good. They've got some very talented players on their team. That'll be the second challenge. The third will be Jordan, and that should be a rather easy game. Pool play, once you get out of pool play, then you're in knockout round. It's the same as any of the international tournaments. So indeed, USA versus New Zealand on Saturday at 7:40 Central Time, 7:40 a.m.
It's a little early for me, but I don't know about Ned.
Ned'll be there.
Ned'll be there. All right, well, you can keep me up to date when I wake up, Ned. You have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.